So it would be great to understand a little bit more about TurboTenant's backstory. So how has it changed over the years? What was the ideology? Like how many employees did you start with versus now?
Yeah, sure. So we'll dig back into my memory banks here. So I started with the company in 2018, which is like 7 years, I guess. So I've been through a lot with the company. When I started, I really don't remember how many people we had. I want to say it was around 10 or so. Um,
Yeah, so quite early in there.
Yeah, exactly. So I was hired by our founder. His name is 𝐮𝐬𝐞𝐫 and he founded the company, I believe, in 2015. Yeah, because we had our 10-year anniversary this year. And he founded it because he wanted to do application and screening software for tenants because no one was really doing that and taking a cut of that money. And so it was a very transactional business when I started at it, where we just, we hoped that we were getting tenants, we hoped we were getting landlords that would pay for these application and screening fees. And then over time, we've evolved into a recurring revenue model where we now have a subscription for our business, for our landlords to use all of our products to make it easy for them to manage their rentals. And so we've got things like lease agreements that are specific to the geographic location that you're in. We've got rent payments, which is a really useful tool for collecting rent payments, whether you're near
Yeah.
your property or not, and all kinds of other things that help landlords like do it very easily for themselves, but also keep themselves in compliance too, so they're not breaking any laws. Piece that I should have added in there is that in 2021, 𝐮𝐬𝐞𝐫, our current CEO, took over from 𝐮𝐬𝐞, our founder, and we've had a rapid sort of change and evolvement, I guess, if you will, since that time, because 𝐮𝐬𝐞𝐫 is a completely different leader from 𝐮𝐬𝐞. And we
Mhm.
have our Be Better culture too, which we came up with around that time, maybe shortly after, that has really been the foundation of our company. But 𝐮𝐬𝐞𝐫 is a product leader as well, and so we're a very product-led company, and so
Mhm.
our product has really evolved since that time, and now we're moving like something like 1 billion in rent payments per month, year. I can't remember the number. I'd have to get back to you,
Insane.
but we're moving a ton of money. We're doing a lot for renters and for especially for landlords across the country.
Yeah. What a growth story. And I think obviously you wanted to cover a lot surrounding culture, and it sounds like culture has been a huge driver for TurboTenant. So obviously you've been with them from an early stage, you've seen that shift. What is it about the company and their values that draws you in today? I guess it's shifted. So yeah, what
Yeah.
is it today that you like so much?
Yeah, so I feel like I'm in a good place now to say that those early years were kind of challenging to be at the
Okay.
company. There wasn't a culture that really truly existed. And so when we came up with the Be Better virtues and culture, and then we started really like layering it in with everything that we do, it became just such a better place to work for everyone, but especially for me as the leader and the person that's kind of touting these virtues and values in this culture. So essentially, like, I'm super proud now of where I work, where that wasn't always the case, and I feel really like confident and like how our culture, I can speak to our culture. And I think like the words that people use for our company now are like, you work really hard, but you have a lot of fun while you're doing it, and your work is actually like felt by our users really quickly. And so
Mm,
you can start the company, and it's possible that within 2 to 3 weeks that you've completed work that actually touches our end users that quickly.
yeah.
And so yeah, the culture has changed a lot, and it's something that we can all point back to and that we all live, and that 𝐮𝐬𝐞𝐫 really models as like our CEO and our top leader in the company, and we all try to as well. And I think the last piece I'll say about it is that the virtues that we have are very complementary to all of life, not just work. Like they're just like they really help support you in being a better human being, and so that
Okay.
makes them really like accessible. They're not just like
Yeah.
do these things at work only. They're
Yeah.
really helpful in the
So
rest of life too.
this is actually an interesting question because it's something, obviously, being in the recruitment space, we often ask our clients, like, how would you describe your culture? I mean, it's hard to put into words, isn't it? But
Yeah,
how would you describe your culture?
yeah. It's a shitload of just like really smart people that really care about the work that they're doing.
Mhm.
And like the way that I look at it as a leader at the company, and especially the leader in HR, is like if our team members can like live these virtues every day, then that actually means that we're doing really good work for landlords and renters, and we're actually having this like huge ripple effect that like ripples out across the entire US, which is
Mhm.
really wild. Not a lot of companies can say like your work really ripples out to that many people. But like everyone genuinely really likes working with one another. In fact, we have an annual company event that's coming up in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks from today, where we fly all of our international engineers into Colorado, and the entire team the whole spirit of it is just like, let's be together and have fun together. And
Oh, I love
there's a
that.
little less work than normal because we're distracted by, the unconventional work mode for the week. But it's all about like, let's just be together. Let's get to know each other in person and like genuinely just have fun, which is
Just
one of our virtues
connect.
too. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow, I want to join. Would you say it is your culture that that's what makes you different in this space? Is there anything else you could add there?
I mean, our culture is like 95% of that answer probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing else is coming to mind. I mean, we have good benefits too, but like the culture, I believe the
Not
culture and
confusing.
the management culture too, like of because the managers are looked at in that same way. And so like, having a manager that like that is good is a lot of why people stay at jobs too. And so yeah, but it all really folds back to culture.
It really does. And this is, I guess, a bit of an off-piece question, but I'm curious about your benefits now. I mean,
Yeah.
it's something that's brought up quite a lot in terms of making something competitive in the market. What is it about your benefit scheme that makes you guys competitive?
Yeah, I don't think we're the most competitive in the market, but I do think that we're competitive. And one of the pieces that I do like to call out is we just added a bonus program, which is new for us. It's based on a percentage of salary as a target, and everybody has a percentage of salary that they're looking toward, and it aligns us all on the same goal. And so it aligns us on our ARR goals, our annual recurring revenue goals, and we also have an EBITDA check, so we don't just spend all of our money to reach the goal. But essentially, we just started that program in the back half of 2024, so we didn't even do it for the full year. We just did it for 6 months in 2024, and we actually were able to hit 200% of our bonus. So if someone's bonus percentage was 5%, that means they essentially got 10% of the back half of the year. Really, they got a full year in 6 months. And we are actually on track to do that same thing again this year because we're doing so well. And so that's a huge selling point when I'm doing offers for folks and I can tell them like, hey, like you're coming into a really great situation, like where you're probably going to hit bonus because we're all targeting the same thing. And we have tools that kind of keep us aligned toward the same thing. Like if someone's not working on work that ties up to that goal, they're able to kind of call that out and have a discussion with their manager too to make sure the work is oriented toward that goal.
Got you. Yeah, that sounds good. It sounds like everyone's kind of you're in it for everyone to win, which is it's good for an employee coming in to know that and really like believe that as well. One thing I'd love to ask is what does leadership mean to you personally, and what do you do to be the best leader that you can be in your role as VP of People Ops?
Yeah, so one, I'm trying to stay true to the culture and also be as authentic as I can be as who I am as a person, but also like be authentic to the culture and make sure that if, we're saying that we want people to be adhering to these virtues and they aren't, that we're taking actions to make sure that the team lines up to that, right? And so really for me, leadership is a lot of just like leading by example and making sure that the things that I'm asking other people to do or are a part of our culture, that I'm also displaying those things and that our other leaders are as well.
And I know that you obviously started in a different position. So you started in kind of project management. Like, how has your leadership style evolved since you joined into the role you're in today?
Yeah. So I just started project manager because it was just like, we need help with a bunch of things. What can you help with? And then, and I helped with so many different things that it's kind of crazy to think back on. Like I did our marketing reporting. I helped with all the legal stuff. I did our accounting reporting with our financial reporting. And so over time, we've had the luxury of growing and being able to hire people that specialize in those roles. And as those things have come off my plate, I've been able to specialize in HR and people ops, which has been like really great for me. And so how my leadership has changed over time is really confidence, I think is probably a big piece of it is like, I didn't totally know what I was doing or where I was supposed to be focusing. There were so many different areas of focus. And over time, I'm like, it's very clear where I can focus now and where I can become an expert in. And so that's been really, really nice to feel over the years and that I've been in HR and people ops now.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. And how about, I guess this is more a general question for TurboTenant. Are you able to share what the next year holds for TurboTenant?
Yeah, so we are in a really fun time where we're acquiring other companies, and we've acquired a handful in the past year already, and so we're growing because we're acquiring other cultures, we're acquiring other teams, and figuring out how best to integrate those with ours. And it is showing that a lot of the tools and foundational things that we have built for our culture are really useful in guiding people toward the way that we do things. So yeah, we'll be growing, people on the team to help, manage those different acquisitions and grow them and do all the different things that come along with integrating different teams. Yeah, it's a very exciting time to be at TurboTenant.
Yeah, it's going to be a big, I guess, a big role for you, all of that change management as well. I think
for sure.
We've spoken separately about kind of culture frameworks. Like, did you want to go into a bit of detail on the different frameworks you put into place with TurboTenant and how would that play into the acquisitions?
Sure. So a lot of it is some of the tools that we have, like we have weekly check-ins between an individual team member and their managers. That is like a very basic piece of our culture, but it's super foundational and really drives like the way that we want to be checking in with one another. So every single week, people are submitting these check-ins on 15.5 is the software that we use. And then we have weekly one-on-ones or bi-weekly one-on-ones with individual and their manager, depending on what team they're on. And then we do quarterly, what we call Be Better conversations, which is like a lightweight performance review where it's like, hey, let's check in on like the areas that you need to kind of touch in on to really dominate, which is one of our virtues. And also like where you're crushing it too. And so having those quick touch bases, but also we do what we call calibrations, which is where myself and Seamus and the leaders of that team will weigh in on each person's performance and give feedback. So like there's just like a constant feedback cycle going on.
Yeah.
And then that feeds into our annual performance reviews, which are just they're just a layer deeper where we're tying compensation to performance, and we're looking also at market rates to see if those have shifted as well, because we'll shift the compensation bands by role if needed, if the market has shifted too. So we're doing all of that work so that people can sort of trust that we have a system, right? And that we're offering something that is a system, and it's not just, oh, well, this person did this over here, so they get something, and this person was more persuasive over here, so they get something. There's actually a system in place, and then we try to roll out and layer those into additional companies or roll them into TurboTenant as we can, as we have integrations as well.
Yeah, that's super exciting. Yeah, exciting to hear how it all evolves. What do you, as a final question, what do you think is important going into 2026 for you guys?
I think we're going to be moving super fast. And so there's this balance between moving super fast and also like taking moments to pause and be like, okay, let's give this like maybe, 10, 15 minutes more thought than we would if we were just continuing to plow forward, and like try to take a little bit more time to think through like what would be the best long-term decision, solution, whatever. So it's just that balance between moving fast and pausing.
Yeah, and thinking like strategically. Sometimes being
exactly.
slow can be a good thing.